So many people don't know that they need art. People think no one needs art. I think everyone needs art. It can be so deeply therapeutic. Art is a form of self-therapy. It's a type of art therapy that's actually therapeutic. Whereas traditional art therapy is actually kind of rough. Traditional art therapy is something that does not build one up before it tears one down. So, traditional medical art therapy is something that typically you go into with the intention of bypassing language. So there's talk therapy, right? And then there is art therapy. Talk therapy is where you identify what's going on with words. Art therapy is where you skip the words and you still go into the deep, dark shadow recesses of your psyche. You still unpack every cobweb living in there. You still get emotional and you still tear down everything surrounding that unpacking, or rather, you still unpack and become torn down in the process, which is a way to deal with our stuff that we have inside of us, living inside of us, hiding inside of us, cracking us open from the inside. However, my approach to art therapy is a non-clinical, non-medical, and non-traditional approach. My position on the subject is that art is a therapeutic experience where it's not necessary to go into all of that deep, dark stuff during this chunk of time. This chunk of time is carved out for you to silence your notifications, silence your phone, tell everyone you're busy for 2 hours, forget the world exists, stop thinking about your checklist and your to-dos and your have-tos and your schedule and all of your people and all of your conflicts. Step away from your ordinary life and step into a bubble zone where no interruption is welcome, where the purpose of the time is to forget everything exists, focus in on the elements before you, whether it be paper and pencil, canvas, paintbrush and paint, pottery on a wheel, clay in your hands, calligraphy, whatever your creative activity is, writing, reading. I suppose reading could be perceived as creative, but I think it's more consuming a creation. So it's linked to creativity, but any creative activity, even reading, can be a medicine of its own type because it separates you from all of that tasking and all of that stress that has a way of claiming all of our time. You have to find something that's capable of holding your focus. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that for a lot of us, there's ADHD and different things going on that dictate what we can and cannot focus on. And that's a subject for another discussion. And taking baby steps towards finding something that you can focus on is a huge step because that is a muscle that grows. I come from a mind without harnessed focus, and at this point in my life, I have very pinpointed, directable focus, and it is something that I built from the ground up. It is not something that existed, and it is not something that grew in on its own. It is not something that will grow in passively for you while you take no action. It is something that you have to plant, grow, cultivate, show up for, strengthen, enhance. Eventually it becomes yours to harness and use on all of your passions and all of your have-tos. And building your focus is something that you can do as a therapeutic art form on something that seems purposeless to some people because it's not productive in the time is money world. But where it is productive is in the therapeutic qualities and the harnessing of focus that it gives to us as we show up for it over and over again. So you find something that you can focus on. In this example, it's the pottery wheel. You show up for it. You silence the world. You carve out time where this belongs to me. You focus in on that clay. And the thing about the pottery wheel is it demands full presence, body and mind, full focus. It demands that you be present. If you're not present, the clay will be the boss and it will fling itself around and it will become chaotic and it will get your attention. If you cannot give your whole body attention to it, it will get your attention when it flops. And that's okay. It is such a magical experience. It's a sensory experience. It demands your focus. It demands your presence. It demands your muscle control. The pottery wheel is kind of like a space you can step into that is void of ordinary life. It's basically teleporting you out of your life and into a day spa moment. When I pull myself away from the pottery wheel focused moment, I come out with a regulated nervous system. I come out feeling like I just stepped out of a day spa. I have deep exhales of relief. The stress begins to melt off of my tense shoulders. I can go from angry and irritated for a large chunk of time to, this is amazing. And it's not just that mud is amazing. It's not just that mud is magical. It's that the whole experience takes you out of your ordinary stress response and it puts you into a whole body and a whole mind, and if you allow it, a whole soul focus. And the longer you stay in it, the better your chances are of coming out feeling rejuvenated. If you're lucky enough to get into a flow state with it, people throw around the word flow like they know what it is. And I don't doubt there's a lot of different ways to use the word flow, but what I'm talking about is specifically positive psychology's flow state, which is a therapeutic state where you disconnect from your life and yourself. You lose touch with everything you're remaining connections with in your daily productive life. You sever those temporarily. When I get into a flow state, I exit my body even. And what I mean is, I'm no longer actively in touch with the fact that I exist. I am so focused on that clay that I actually get a break from being myself and living my life. And when I pop out of that state, when I come out of that flow state, I feel better. I feel relaxed. I feel rejuvenated. I feel satisfied. I feel like I actually got a break from all of the crap that my life is filled with. All of the tasks and the have-tos and the stress and the relationship dynamics and the conflict and all of the things. It's an actual break It's a portal into relaxation. It's something that you don't even know you need until you realize what it's like. So that's what I do, is I show people the way towards that. Basically what I'm doing is I'm taking my therapeutic journey and I'm inviting others to see what it's like and see what they can gain from doing the same thing. And it doesn't have to be pottery. It could be anything that captivates you. It could be anything that holds your attention, even for a moment. Because if you show up for it for a moment, chances are you're going to grow that moment into a longer duration of time. And that's what it takes to harness the gifts of a flow state. So the beauty of pottery is that the wheel makes it easy to step out of your life and into that zone that can captivate you and hold you in a space long enough that you forget you're living your life. It has the capability of doing that more than any other thing I've experienced in my life. Granted, maybe skydiving is like that more so, things like that. So by starting with pottery, it's kind of an easy entry point into this whole concept of taking your focus, putting it on something, obtaining a flow state, and coming out feeling rejuvenated and more ready for your life, more prepared for all the things you have to do. Once you have that skill set built with pottery, the muscle is there, the muscle has grown, and then the muscle can be the muscle or the neural network inside of our brain can use what it has established and branch off into other things. So then next you could do calligraphy or try to read that 500-page novel that you never thought you could, or whatever your goals are, whatever is interesting to you, whatever is authentic, whatever is genuine, whatever curiosity burns inside of you, you can take that muscle and that neural network that you built with pottery and you can put it towards anything else that you're interested in. Before you know it, you become an art junkie like me, who has a passion for learning every possible type of art or literature or whatever your thing is. So that's what I do, is I help to shine a light on the path that people can step onto and do this kind of thing. Taking that time to care for yourself and to get into a state of mind that's therapeutic and rejuvenating just makes it that much easier to go out into the world and show up as a better version of you. Yes, it's an art form, but it's really so much more. It pays forward in countless ways.